Hello and welcome to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Thank you so much for joining us for another segment. We're going to be speaking with Dr. Anthony Rullo. He's joining us here from McMaster University to talk about the Anna Biosciences Syntem Platform. Welcome to Health Professional Radio, Dr. Rullo.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here.
Well, give us a bit of your professional background and talk about your role there at McMaster University, if you would.
Absolutely. I started off doing my undergraduate degree actually here at McMaster several years ago now, and then proceeded to do a master's in chemical biology at the University of Guelph, and then moved from there to the University of Toronto, where I pursued my Ph.D. in organic chemistry and chemical biology under the supervision of Professor Mark Nitz. And from there, went off to Yale to do a postdoctoral research fellowship for a few years before going full circle and returning back to McMaster, my home university and hometown, as a professor. We now have a chemical immunology research lab at McMaster University directly in the Department of Medicine, which is actually a great place to do this type of research because you can really benefit from close ties with real experts away from the chemical sciences into the immunology and biologic space. So I'm surrounded by world-class experts in tumor immunotherapy and immuno-oncology, which is a great place for a chemist to be.
Now, what other than discussing the platform is your relationship or McMaster University's relationship with Anna Biosciences?
So Anna Biosciences has really, has made it possible for us to kind of take the basic fundamental technology in the lab and help get it launched into the commercial trajectory.
Now, I do understand that you partnered with Anna Biosciences in combating COVID-19, bringing a new treatment to the market. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, I have the role of CSO at the company.
Mm-hmm. Now, I understand that this Anna Biosciences Syntem Platform deploys engineered molecules that create something called synthetic immunity. Could you explain what synthetic immunity is? Absolutely.
So that's a great question. And synthetic immunity is really a concept that has to do with the fact that you can make a small molecule or synthetic molecule therapy that essentially can redirect components of your immune system to a target of interest, so a type of disease like cancer or a virus or a viral particle, and facilitate its clearance. So from the immune system's perspective, it's as though you've already had exposure to this pathogen or disease before, and now the immune system is ready to engage. And so that really encompasses the term synthetic immunity. And so what our platform enables is really to use these proprietary synthetic molecules to redirect these components of the immune system with high selectivity to the target to facilitate the natural immune system's ability to clear these diseases and pathogenic species.
So giving the immune system a boost against the COVID-19 infected cells?
You could think of it that way. I don't know if I'd want to use the word boost because that's a term that's often used in the vaccine terminology
and booster shots and things of that.
Yeah. So I don't know if I would use the word boost necessarily, as I would perhaps in a way maybe educate the immune system or help direct or focus the immune system to the point of need. I think that describes it maybe a bit more accurately.
Exactly how does these molecules attack the COVID-19 cells? Do they actually attack them as, you didn't want to say boost, but give these cells an education in identifying and eradicating them? Right.
So in the context of COVID-19, which is what we're leading our announcement with, given the current global situation, essentially the molecules you can think of them as an assembly of 2 or 3 or more Lego blocks pieced together. And what these Lego blocks do is, so you can think of one piece as being able to recognize the target disease, okay, or features of the virus in the case of COVID-19. And then a second Lego block that's attached is able to recognize a component of the immune system, like a natural antibodies that are circulating in your blood for a variety of reasons. Okay, these are antibodies that are already there, not to confuse that with antibodies that are induced through a vaccine booster, for example. And then the third piece, a proprietary piece of the Lego structure, if you will, of the therapy, enables the synthetic molecule to bridge these two components and get them really close together and hold them there, which is one of the really special features of the Syntem platform. And so by holding the immune system component, like the antibody, at the site of the virus, you're able to really increase the ability of the immune system to clear and eradicate that virus, even before infection. Mm-hmm. And so this is one major point of novelty of the Syntem technology against COVID-19. A second is that if, let's say, for example, the virus does infect the host and does get into some of your own cells and begins to replicate, the technology also has the ability to recognize to recognize the fact that the virus is inside, has infected a normal cell, and do the same thing. Basically bridge, let's say, antibodies to those infected cells that allows the immune system to then clear the infected cell and the virus to prevent further replication and infection.
Do specific molecules need to be created for each COVID variant that's identified or any others that may be identified in the future?
That's a great question. And one of the really exciting features of the Syntem platform for COVID-19 is because these are smaller synthetic molecules, we're able to generate them at very large, we're able to really quickly make lots of these molecules, okay? And they can be stored at room temperature. They're very easy to handle. And you can really tune their targeting potential. So you can easily swap out one of those three Lego blocks that encodes, let's say, one part of the COVID surface for another Lego block that recognizes a slightly different part of that surface. And so in this way, the Syntem tech for COVID-19 has some real utility in targeting variants and escape mutants of the COVID-19, of the SARS-CoV-2 virus.
Now, I heard you mention early in our conversation cancer. Is this technology something that is potentially going to be used in the fight against cancer, or is it already intended to be used in that fight as well?
It absolutely is intended to be used as part of the kind of broader global efforts in immuno-oncology, which is a term that I think a lot of people have heard of, or you could think of, or perhaps tumor immunotherapy would ring more bells. And so this is a type of a very highly targeted cancer therapy that's gained a lot of traction in recent years. And so the Syntem platform can be directed in this immuno-oncology space, in this tumor immunotherapy space, to do something very similar, where instead of recognizing a unique feature on the surface of a virus, you recognize a unique feature on the surface of a cancer cell. And so we're very interested in going after some very high impact cancer targets, and already have made some really good progress in that arena as well. And we're looking forward to actually launching some more information on that in the next couple months. And RacePoint actually can get more information on that if you're interested.
Great. Well, give our listeners a website where we can learn more about the Anna Biosciences Syntem platform, if you would.
Oh, sure. Yes. It's www.annabiosciences.com.
Great. I appreciate you joining us here on Health Professional Radio this evening. Thank you so much.
Thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Great to be here.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard, in conversation with Dr. Anthony Rullo. Audio copies of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au. You can also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, listen in, download at SoundCloud, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com, Health Professional Radio.